Students, welcome to Sankalp Learning. In science, we discussed force and laws of motion chapter in the last class. So we have already completed the theory part of this chapter. We discussed what do you mean by force, what are the effect of forces, types of forces like balanced force, unbalanced force. Then after that, we discussed about Newton's first law, second law, and third law. Along with that, we discussed the examples, and in the Newton's first law we come across the concept that is inertia. What is inertia? It is nothing but the property of the body to oppose the change, that is called as inertia. In inertia we have three types: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. Okay, so after that we discussed about momentum, change of momentum, rate of change of momentum. Second law, examples for second law. Third law of motion, then examples. Last point in this chapter is conservation of momentum and example for conservation of momentum. So in today's class, we will discuss about the numericals based on this chapter. We will see few general numericals. Okay, then after that we will see the your exercise part. Okay, in the chapter, whatever the end question answers are there, problems are there, that we will discuss. Okay, see here the first question is, find the acceleration produced by a force of 20 Newton acting on a body of 5 kg. We need to calculate the acceleration here. According to Newton's second law, we come across the relation. So we derived F is equal to m into A. According to Newton's second law, we derived F is equal to m into A here. See, they have given the mass of the body as 5 kg. Then again what it is given, you can see here, then the force is given. The force is given here, that is 20 Newton. What we need to calculate? We need to calculate acceleration. So therefore we can write it as acceleration is equal to force divided by mass. So what is the force? Force is 20 Newton divided by mass. Mass is how much? It is 5 kg. This is equal to acceleration A. So what we can do? We can cancel. This is 5 ones are 5 fours are. Therefore acceleration is equal to, we can write it as 4 meter per second square. So acceleration is 4 meter per second square. Here you can see that it is written. Okay. So we just need to take F is equal to m into A, and there we can prove this. Therefore acceleration A is equal to 4 meter per second square. Right. So very simple numerical. We need to remember the formula, that is F is equal to m into A. Okay, next one we will see. See here. A bus of mass 5000 kg starts from rest and rolls down a hill. If it travels a distance of 200 meter in 10 seconds, calculate acceleration of the bus and the force acting on the bus. We need to calculate both acceleration and force acting on the bus. So to calculate that, see what all they have given in this question. They have given the mass of the body. You can see here. The mass of the body is given as how much? 5000 kg. They specified that the body is at rest. So when they will say that the body is at rest, here we will take the initial velocity as 0. Okay, so mass is 5000 kg, initial velocity is 0, and the distance covered is, you can see it will, if it travels a distance of 200 meter, that is S is equal to 200 meter and T is equal to, it is 10 seconds. So let us calculate what is acceleration and force acting. So distance traveled by the body is equal to ut plus half at square. So here what we need to do the calculation here, students, we need to calculate acceleration A is equal to. We need to calculate acceleration A is equal to. So in this equation, that is S is equal to ut plus half at square. Simplify this equation for A is equal to what we will get? Yes, minus ut. Correct, this is plus ut. If it comes to the other side, it becomes minus ut is equal to 1 by 2 at square. So what we can do now, this 2 I can multiply here. It becomes 2 into bracket, yes, minus u into t is equal to a into t square. What we require? We require acceleration. Therefore, it is 2 into bracket, yes, minus u into t divided by t square divided by t square here. So 2 keep as it is. And the distance traveled is 200. Initial velocity is 0. So when initial velocity will be 0, this 0 into t will be 0 itself. So it becomes 2 into 200 divided by t square. What is the value of t here? It is 10 seconds. So 10 into 10, it is 100. We can cancel these two zeros. Therefore, it becomes 4 meter per second square. That is, acceleration is equal to 4 meter per second square. So once we calculate the acceleration value, calculating force is very easy. Why? Because we have force F is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass is how much here, students? It is 5000 kg into acceleration is how much? It is 4. So it will be 20,000 Newton. It will be 20,000 Newton. You can see the solution is written. So whichever is convenient for you to understand, you can copy that one here. Right? Okay. Okay, next. So I hope you copied this. Next sum we will see. So these are just extra sums to make you understand clear with your concepts. Next, after solving few, we can go for your exercise part. Okay, students. So this, let me this. Next one. The velocity time graph of a ball moving on the surface of a floor is shown in the figure. Find the force acting on the ball if the mass of the ball is 50 gram. If the mass of the ball is 50 gram. Means here they have given the mass of the ball and they have given the graph. The velocity time graph is given here. So by this, what we need to do here? We need to calculate the force acting. We need to calculate the force acting. So let us understand this. See the graph first here. The velocity is along y-axis and the time is along x-axis. See the line here. The line is coming in the downward direction. That is from 30 is the velocity, 6 is the time. Can you see? Okay, so let us see the solution part. So as I told you, the time is 6 seconds. Initial velocity is 30 meter per second. So if you observe the graph here, we will see that the body is coming and it is just going to end the motion after 6 seconds. Therefore, the final velocity will be 0 here. So when the final velocity will be 0, we need to calculate the force. We have the relation, that is force is equal to mass into acceleration, but acceleration value is not given. So to calculate acceleration, we have a formula in the new, while discussing the chapter, I told you acceleration is written as change in velocity divided by time. So what is final velocity? I have written already, this is 0 minus initial velocity is 30 divided by time t. So t value you can see here, it is 6 seconds. So I can cancel this one, right? So this is minus 5 meter per second square. This is what? This is your acceleration. They asked you to calculate the force here. So force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass is given as, see the question, the mass value is given actually. See here. The mass of the body, it is given as what? Ball is 50 grams. It is given as 50 grams here. Therefore, force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass is 50 gram. So we need to convert this 50 grams into kg. How we will do this is 50 divided by 1000. That is nothing but 0.05 kg. That is 0.05 kg. So mass is 0.05 kg and acceleration is minus 5. So 0.05 kg into minus 5 is nothing but what? 0.25. It is 0.25 minus 2.5 Newton is the answer. Okay. Next. Next question, that is, a bullet of mass 100 gram is fired from a gun of mass 20 kg. Okay. That is, we have here a bullet whose mass is 100 gram. So always you remember, when the masses are given in terms of grams here, we need to convert it in terms of, what? Kg. We need to convert it in terms of kg here. Okay. So we know the conversion factor, that is 1 kg is equal to 1000 grams. So like that we can do the calculation. Next. It is fired from a gun of mass 220 kg with a velocity of 100 meter per second. Calculate the velocity of recoil of the gun. We need to calculate the velocity here, that to recoil velocity. Okay. So mass is given as 100 gram. Convert it in terms of kg. As I told you, it is 100 divided by 1000. Therefore, we will get it as 0.1. Next, the final velocity of the motion is given, that is 100 meter per second. Mass of the bullet and mass of the gun is also given, that is 100 gram and 20 kg. So total mass, how we will do here, students? Total mass is taken as both the masses. But here what we are doing, see here, that is recoil velocity, in the sense when it is fired, after that it will move with some the gun will move with some velocity, backward motion. So that velocity is called as what? Recoil velocity. That recoil velocity we need to calculate. Therefore we will write final momentum is equal to, so momentum is what? Mass into velocity. But here the mass into velocity for bullet plus mass into velocity for gun. This is equal to, so what is the mass of the bullet? It is 0.1. What is the velocity of the bullet? it is 100 meter per second. Plus, what is the mass of the gun here? It is 20 kg into velocity. I'll take it as v itself. So now, if I simplify this, that is 100 into 0.1 is 10 plus 20 into v. This is final momentum. What is conservation of momentum here? Conservation of momentum is nothing but what? Initial momentum is equal to final momentum. Therefore, see, now what is initial momentum? So before the fire, both will be at rest. Therefore, the initial velocity, initial momentum will be 0 is equal to final momentum. What we have written here, 10 plus 20 into v. Therefore, v is equal to minus 10 divided by 20. So 0, 0 will get cancelled. Minus 1 by 2 is nothing but what? Minus 0.5 meter per second. Minus 0.5 meter per second. This is what? Velocity. Done. This is called as recoil velocity. As they have asked you to calculate only recoil velocity, this much calculation is enough. Next. So the question is, a large truck and a car velocity of magnitude v have a head-on collision, means they will collide facing towards each other. Both of them come to the halt after that. If the collision lasts for 1 second, if the collision lasts for 1 second. So see here, students. This one example they have given, based on this one statement, they have asked you 4 questions. We need to mark the right one here. See what scenario they have given here. A large truck and a car, both moving with a velocity of magnitude v, and they will collide with each other head on, means face to face. Next, both of them come to halt. They will come to rest after that. If the collision lasts for 1 second. So see what all questions they have asked. First question, based on this example, that is, which vehicle experiences greater force of impact? So here they have asked you which vehicle will experience more force here. Okay, next, which vehicle experiences greater change in velocity, and which vehicle experiences greater acceleration, and why is the car likely to suffer more damage than the truck? Okay, so these are the 4 questions what they have asked you. See here, first question is what? Which vehicle experiences greater force of impact? See here, a car experiences greater force of impact exerted by the truck because truck has the greater momentum. Because here what happens, the truck compared to car and truck, the truck is heavier and the velocity is more. So when mass and velocity both are more, the momentum will be more. So no doubt when momentum will be more, the force will be more here. Therefore, we can say that the car will experience the greater force, the greater impact here. Next. Next we have, which vehicle experiences greater change in momentum? See, so again it is a truck. As I told you, the mass and velocity will be more for truck. Therefore, the truck will experience more change in momentum. Which vehicle experiences greater acceleration? So greater acceleration. See here, car will experience the greater acceleration. Why it is, I'll tell you. Because we have F is equal to M into A, right? So this expression we can also write it as F divided by M is equal to acceleration, correct? So which is having more mass here compared to car and truck? The car is having less mass, therefore the acceleration will be more. The acceleration will be more here. Understood? The car will experience greater acceleration. Okay, next. Momentum transfer to the car is okay. So question is, Momentum. Why the car is likely to suffer more damage than the truck, they have asked you. So here what happens, the momentum transfer to the car is more, therefore the damage is more here, therefore the damage is more for the car. Okay, so these are the point concepts based on your conservation of momentum. So here next we are going to discuss your what we can say, your exercise question answers from your chapters. Okay, so this is actually the fourth question if I'm not wrong. So here it is a numerical, only numerical part I have taken. This is the fifth question actually. Okay, before that, if you open your textbook and see, now you can see that they have given 4 questions before this, but those 4 questions are, it is just theory questions. So see, first you just see the second and third question there. I'll just read the second question here, students. Second question is, when a carpet is beaten with a stick, dust comes out of it. Explain. I told you already. So in the slide also we discussed this. Correct. So what it was, so when a carpet is beaten with the stick, here what happens? That is because of inertia of motion, inertia of rest, the dust particles will detach. The dust particles will get detached from the carpet. So here you can see this explanation. So if anybody wants, they can take a screenshot or they can copy this part. When the carpet is beaten, this is second answer for your exercise type questions. So when the carpet is beaten with a stick, the fibers of the carpet come in motion and hence move forward. On the other hand, the dust particles remain at the rest due to inertia of rest. So this is what for your second question. Third question is, why it is as advised to tie any luggage kept on the roof of a bus with a rope. So this also I told you during the class. So why we tie the luggages when we are traveling? Why? Because of, as I told you, if the question is asked for 1 mark, you can explain either inertia of rest or motion. If it is for 2 mark, you need to explain both the concept, that is inertia of rest as well as inertia of motion. Okay. So we know that how we can explain, when a moving bus suddenly stops, luggage on its roof tend to continue in the state of motion due to the inertia of motion. So hence the luggage will fall. On the other hand, we can say that when the bus starts suddenly, the luggage tend to continue the state of rest. Therefore, it will fall down from that. So both the concepts we can explain here. Okay. Then I am reading fourth question now, students, from your textbook. That is, fourth question is, a batsman hits a cricket ball, which then rolls on a level ground. After covering some short distance, the ball comes to rest. The ball slows to the stop because. So here one multiple choice question they have given. They said that a cricket ball is moving or rolling on the ground. It will cover some distance. After that, it will come to rest. So why it will stop, they are asking. First option is the batsman did not hit the ball. Second option is velocity is proportional to the force. Third option is there is a force on the ball opposing the motion. And the fourth option is there is no unbalanced force on the ball, so the ball would want to come to rest. So here the students, option C is the correct option. Option 3. Third option is the correct option here. Okay. So why third option here? Because as I told you, according to Galileo's experiment and all, we have discussed that unless and until, means here when some external force acts on the body will change the state, that is from rest to motion or motion to rest. Okay. Then, so first question is remaining now. So read the first question we have. It is like an object experiences a net zero external unbalanced force. So they are saying that an object will experience the net zero balancing force is it possible for the object to be traveling with a non-zero velocity? If yes, state the condition that must be placed on the magnitude and direction of the velocity. If no, provide a reason. So they have given that an object is experiencing a net zero external unbalanced force. So the object is experiencing net zero unbalanced force here. In that case, if it is traveling with a non-zero velocity, they're asking you, is it possible to travel for a non-zero velocity? If yes, you need to give reason. If no, then also you need to give the reason here. Okay. So here, students, what we can say here, the answer is what? It is yes or no? It is actually yes here. Okay. An object experiences a net zero external unbalanced force. So when it is experiencing a net unbalanced force, it will continue that motion. So that explanation you can write here. Okay. So now we will see the fifth question. It is a numerical based question. See here. A truck starts from rest and rolls down a hill with a constant acceleration. It travels a distance of 40 meters in 20 seconds. Okay. Here we have a truck starting from rest. So as I told you, whenever we consider any object is starting from rest, its initial velocity will be 0. Its initial velocity will be 0 here. Then next we have, that is
hello. Hello.
so initial velocity will be 0 here. The distance traveled is 400 and the time taken it is given as 20 seconds. Okay. Next, we need to calculate the acceleration and force acting on and mass of 7 tons. Okay, we need to calculate the force acting on a mass of 7 tons here. So in the textbook, if you see, they have given one hint also, that is 1 ton is equal to 1000 kg. Okay, students. So let us calculate now. So to calculate force, no doubt we require acceleration. So to calculate acceleration, we have a formula, S is equal to ut plus half at square. So in the motion chapter, we will discuss these formulas. Okay, now you just see this. So after 2-3 other topics, I'll start with the motion chapter also. That time we will discuss this, all the formulas. Now you see the distance traveled is given by ut plus half at square. Here, initial velocity is 0. Therefore, the first term u into t, it becomes 0 plus 1 by 2 into acceleration a is unknown. What we need to calculate here into t square is 20 into 20. And the distance traveled is 400 meter. So simplify this one. It is 1 by 2 into a into 400. That is equal to, so 2 ones are 200 here. It becomes 200 into a. Now acceleration a is equal to, it is 2 meter per second square. Acceleration a is equal to 2 meter per second square. So to calculate force, we have force is equal to m into a. Force, that is a mass into acceleration. Mass is 7000 kg into acceleration is 2. That becomes 14,000 Newton. It becomes 14,000 Newton. Okay. Second one. This is also from your textbook only. That is, a stone of 1 kg is thrown with a velocity of 20 meter per second across the frozen surface of a lake. and it comes to rest after traveling a distance of 50 meter. So what is the force of friction between the stone and the ice? So we have a stone of mass 1 kg. We need to calculate force. So to calculate force, as usual, we require acceleration. To calculate acceleration, here you can see we have v square minus u square is equal to 2a into s. Therefore, acceleration is equal to v square minus u square divided by 2 into s. So final velocity is what? It is 0 because the body is coming to rest here. Therefore, the final velocity will be 0. 0 minus initial velocity is 20 square is how much? It is 400 divided by 2 into distance traveled is 50. 2 into 50 is 100. So minus 400 divided by 100, that is equal to minus 4 meter per second. Therefore, we will get force is equal to mass into acceleration. Mass is 1 kg. Acceleration is minus 4. Therefore, it becomes minus 4 Newton. Minus 4 Newton. So the force is 4 Newton here. So force of friction, we will take it as 4 Newton. Okay, students. So remaining sums, we will continue in the next class. Thank you.